It's the internet, you're busy, let's do this. I'm Jeff Grubb, I write for GamesBeat.com. The Nintendo 64 turned 25 years old, I believe, today. I'm a bit out of it. I got a bit of a cold, but feeling a little bit better. And I had the urge to do this. And by this, I mean I'm going to play some old Nintendo 64 games, but not the good ones. I'm not going to play the good games. I'm going to play the games that I associate most with Nintendo 64 beyond sort of, the canon library of, important Nintendo 64 games. We're not going to play anything that's important, I don't think. Instead, we're going to play stuff like BattleTanx. We're going to play the games that I rented a lot as a kid, basically, is what we're doing here. So, a plague killed a bunch of people. I don't know. The story never mattered. One rule I had on the Nintendo 64 was the story never matters. Ooh, did that say 2006? We're about to go into the future. I think people are pretty hard on Nintendo 64 and PlayStation 1 in terms of the quality of the graphics, but you have to keep in mind it was really a different time, and not just a different time, but it was 5 enemies killed. It was the first generation of real 3D graphics, and it was, if you compare the first generation of 3D graphics to the first generation of 2D graphics, I think it makes a lot more sense. It's a lot. I am missing all my shots. The first generation of 3D graphics is a lot like, plugging in an Atari 2800, and that's it. What are you doing? What are you hiding over here for? Yes. BattleTanx. She looks very different in those two drawings. Her face is like misaligned. I wonder if that's something wrong with the emulation. I played both BattleTanx games. This is the second one. Both as in there might not be more. There could be more than that. I don't know. I know it's a 3DO game, which, I never played BattleTanx on the original hardware, I guess. I didn't even know there was a 3DO BattleTanx. Oh, don't forget to jot down your password so you can get back to this level later. Man, they should just remake this game. Get Blue Point on this one next. Do you just have giant explosives on your back? Is that really a good idea as a tank? Oh, train! Now, I did start by saying we weren't going to play any good games, but obviously that was incorrect, because Beetle Adventure Racing is a classic. It is a great game. It was always a great game. It still is a great game. But it's all Beetles all the time. You got to keep something in mind. The Beetle was like a phenomenon again at this time. It was everywhere. They were doing a lot of marketing for it. They made it a big deal. And then, I can't remember her name. A pop star did one music video where she drove it and it became like a girl's car. And you know how that like male flight thing happens where if a car becomes associated with women, men don't want it anymore. Well, that happened to the Beetle, and the Beetle's kind of been sidelined ever since a little bit. It's completely unfair. But this game was fantastic. Okay. Games journalist mode. The thing about this game that was always great is it had a ton of like shortcuts, things that you could find. Whoa, here we go. And so like all the courses were really fun because of that, and it rewarded replaying it over and over and over. Oh, I missed it. I mean, I don't know. You could see like all of these shortcuts flying by. It doesn't even feel bad to miss them. That's what this game did really well, is make the shortcuts pretty obvious, but also make them kind of tricky to nail so that you don't just hit them all on your very first try. Man, still in the first lap? Jeez, long laps. 9-minute races, man. Okay. We didn't have a lot of stuff going on back in the 90s, early 2000s. We had time for 9-minute races. It was either this or watch Total Request Live, and when Total Request Live was over, you just had to go back to this. Whoa, first person. All right, here we go. Well, I think on the higher difficulty settings, when you're not playing on games journalist mode, the AI takes some of these shortcuts too. And that's video games. This is one that I rented maybe one time, Mortal Kombat Mythologies Sub-Zero, and yet somehow it's always stuck with me. I didn't even play it that much, but just something about the whole concept of basically just taking the exact Mortal Kombat mechanics and turning it into a side-scrolling beat 'em up. Like, yeah, you turn around by hitting a button, because this is like you back up so you can block and stuff because it's a fighting game still. Wow. Turn around. Turn around. Sub-Zero's gonna kick you in the nards and then punch you in the face. Turn around. Punch really hard. Punch even harder, then turn around again and punch. I mean, it just feels exactly... Fuck you, Ed Boon. All right, this is Robotron 64, and Robotron was already kind of, this is beyond the days of Robotron already, and yet this was I think this is a really good version of Robotron, and what's really good about it is if you play it now, it is like on an emulator. The controls are mapped. The shooting controls are. It's like a dual stick controller. But the N64 didn't have two sticks. So now if you play it, it's mapped to the second stick. It's the C buttons are mapped to your second stick automatically on most emulators, and so it actually works really well. So again, I said I was going to play a bunch of bad games, but these just aren't bad games. This is a pretty decent game. It probably doesn't look like it. It doesn't. It probably looks. If you are a young person, you know what? Fuck you, young people. This looks better than Roblox. I mean, I don't hate Roblox or anything, but come on. I don't know why I'm being so hostile to Roblox players. It's in my heart. I love the way this dude falls down to each level. Is he the Robotron, you think? Is that an old man? Leave my old men alone. You should have just shot, homie. I don't think the Sacramento Kings are very good at basketball. I mean, clearly neither of the Lakers, at least not with me controlling them. Oh, Shaquille O'Neal! Shaquille O'Neal! Oh, Rick Fox. He invented esports. Why did you dunk, Shaq? Come on, Shaq. So, as a Nintendo 64 owner, I was determined to find a fighting game, because PlayStation had Tekken and all this stuff, and so I would rent all of them. I rented BioFreaks, and here's one of them, and that's just a jester with a clown hammer. None of them were good. All right, this character design's pretty cool. I would buy a Trapper Keeper with him on it. All right, this is Mace the Dark Age, also just a real sad fighting game. Oh, hey, this is the guy that was in the ads. Let me play as him. If you can't block it, I'm going to keep doing it. Haha. Haha. Good at games. Just all bad names. I guess Mortal Kombat's not exactly literature. Oh, Kabuki Joe. I like him because he's so culturally sensitive. Honestly, we might be batting pretty low percentage-wise here in terms of representing cultures in a way that feels appropriate. I guess the pagans don't care. Pagans would be like, yeah, sure, we're leather sex goddesses. That's us. I don't know. She looks like a school superintendent on her off hours. Wow, Kabuki. Whoa, hey, whoa, look at that. I don't like that game anyhow. It's a shit game.
What about now? It's time to rock with the biggity back bumper. What about now? It's time to rock with the biggity back bumper. Bump to the bump to the bump to the bass. Bump to the bump to the bumper. Bump to the bump to the bump to the bass. Bump to the bump to the bumper.
All right, so I know we said we're going to play a lot of bad games, but Excitebike 64 is not bad in any way. It's just very overlooked, I think, in my opinion. It is up there with 1080 and Wave Race in terms of like that era of Nintendo 64 sort of extreme sports games. It's fantastic. It's really hard to time that tire swipe thing. That works in here just like it did in the original Excitebike. Wow, okay, that was a good race. It took me a second to get my Excitebike 64 legs back, but they came back. All right, that's gonna do it. I just wanted to do a quick roundup of some weird games. I think it was a good tour. Nintendo 64 is 25 years old. I still like it a lot. And I still like playing a lot because of games like this, not because of those other ones. Excitebike 64, more people should play that. Nintendo should bring it back. Just port it to the Switch so I can play it all the time. I would. All right, thanks for watching. I'm going to catch you next time. Until then, have a good one. Take care of yourself, and goodbye.